The interview with Lisa Ramirez took place in their living room on a crisp, sunny afternoon. California and Sue sat side by side on the couch, Macaulay's framed school photo on the coffee table between them, and the room was filled with a quiet, hopeful energy. California could feel Sue's hand resting on her knee, a comforting presence that steadied her nerves. They'd come a long way, but the significance of this interview wasn't lost on her. Lisa sat across from them, her notepad in hand, her expression both professional and warm. She began with some basic questions, gently asking about their backgrounds, their relationship, and what had led them to make the decision to foster Macaulay. California felt herself relax as they shared their journey, meeting each other, finding strength together, and ultimately choosing to create a family with Macaulay. And what would you say is your guiding principle in wanting to foster him? Lisa asked, looking at them with a keen, attentive gaze. Sue leaned forward, her voice steady and full of conviction. We want him to feel safe, loved, and accepted no matter what. We want him to know he has a family who cares about him, that he'll never have to question whether he belongs. That's everything to us. Lisa nodded, jotting down notes, a small smile touching her lips. You two have certainly built a wonderful home here, and it's clear Macaulay has a special place in it. He's very lucky to have found you. Then, as California knew it would, the conversation turned to her own history. Lisa looked up, her voice softening. California, I know that you've been through some tough times yourself. There's a note here from your medical records about an incident last year, a hospitalization related to substance use. Would you be willing to talk about that? California felt a pang of anxiety, but met Lisa's gaze with quiet resolve. It's true. I had a rough time and I went through a treatment program. But that was a turning point for me, and with the help of people like Father Trevors and Sue, I worked my way back. I haven't touched anything since. I'm committed to my recovery and to creating a safe, stable home for Macaulay. Lisa nodded thoughtfully, her eyes filled with understanding. Thank you for sharing that, California. It's important to know you've addressed those challenges. With the support of Father Trevors and the medical evaluations we've discussed, I believe we can present a strong case for your stability. Your commitment to Macaulay is evident, and I'll be sure to include that in my report. The interview continued with ease, covering everything from their views on discipline to their plans for Macaulay's education and future. By the end, the warmth in Lisa's smile had grown, and California felt her own heart lightening with a cautious optimism. I'll be honest with you, Lisa said, closing her notebook and meeting their eyes. I'm very hopeful about your case. Macaulay is in good hands, and with all the love and stability you're providing, I have no doubt he's where he's meant to be. They thanked Lisa warmly, feeling a quiet sense of triumph as they walked her to the door, exchanging a few final pleasantries before she left. As soon as she was gone, they looked at each other, a shared happiness settling between them. California felt a surge of excitement. We did it, she whispered, a grin spreading across her face. Come on, Sue said, laughing. Let's go get Macaulay from school. They picked a Macaulay after school, his face lighting up when he spotted them waiting by the entrance. He was filled with stories about his new classmates, the teacher, and even a kid he thought might become his friend. California felt her heart swell as she listened, her eyes meeting Sue's with a shared joy. As they pulled into the driveway, Macaulay ran ahead, bounding up the steps and into the house, his energy infectious. Sue and California followed, chuckling as they watched him explore, almost as if he were seeing their home with new eyes each time he stepped inside. Come on, you two, he called out, a grin on his face. I'll show you what they gave me in class. They joined him in the living room, where he had already laid out a folder filled with papers and assignments. Sue sat beside him, laughing as he proudly explained his class project, his hands gesturing animatedly. California stayed back, watching the two of them with a quiet sense of awe. It struck her how easily they'd slipped into this rhythm, one she never thought she'd experience. After dinner, as they cleared the dishes, Sue wrapped her arms around California, leaning her head against her shoulder. This is amazing, isn't it? California nodded, her gaze drifting toward the kitchen where Macaulay was finishing his last bite of dessert. Yeah, it's more than I ever thought I'd have. Sue sighed, a contented smile on her face. We should do something to remember this day, don't you think? Just the three of us. California thought for a moment, then smiled. I think you're right. Sue suggested taking a picture together, a simple memento of the day that had cemented their sense of belonging. As they moved outside to the front yard, the early evening sunlight softened around them, casting a warm, gentle glow. Macaulay ran out to join them, an eager smile lighting up his face as he placed himself between them. All right, California said, setting the camera. Everybody ready? She rested her hand on Macaulay's shoulder, a gesture so natural that it felt like second nature. Sue slipped her arm around California, giving her a squeeze, her own expression radiating happiness. The three of them stood there, faces bright with joy, and in that moment, everything felt beautifully complete. California clicked the camera, capturing the image of their small, budding family. The picture held a kind of magic, the hope they'd all quietly harbored, brought to life in the form of this newfound love and connection. Later that evening, Sue posted the picture online with a simple, heartfelt caption: "Our family is growing." Feeling so grateful to have Macaulay in our lives. They shared a quiet moment together, looking at the photo, none of them quite able to believe how much had changed in so short a time. Within hours, the post began to gain traction. At first, the comments were overwhelmingly positive. Friends, family, and strangers alike expressing joy and congratulations. The outpouring of support was touching, filling California and Sue with even more hope and happiness. The day after the post, the comment section is filled with congratulations, hearts, and joyful messages. Family members, friends, and some followers they'd never met leave heartfelt notes, their words filled with excitement for California, Sue, and Macaulay. Many comments express admiration for the couple's dedication, and several people share stories of their own adoption and fostering journeys. California feels her chest swell with pride and relief. Sharing their story publicly has brought them so much support, and it feels as though the world is cheering for them. By the second day, the post's reach has grown beyond their immediate circles. Friends of friends, co-workers of family members, and strangers begin commenting. The mood remains largely positive, but California notices a few more serious comments questioning their decision. Some express concern about the challenges of fostering a Native American child, subtly hinting at cultural issues. Others make veiled comments about their relationship, phrasing it in a way that might pass as harmless, but leaving an uncomfortable aftertaste. California reads these with a tightening jaw, but she tries to brush it off, reminding herself that every public post invites different opinions. On the third day, things take a noticeable shift. Messages start to appear that question whether two women can provide a balanced family life for a child, especially one with Macaulay's background. Comments like "won't he be confused?" and "every child needs a father figure" appear alongside arguments from supporters who passionately defend the couple's right to parent. California feels her stomach twist as she scrolls through the comments, each one leaving a sharper sting. Sue tries to reassure her, but California can see the worry etched in Sue's face. By the fourth day, the post has gone viral and a flood of new messages pours in. Many comments remain positive, showing support and admiration, but the negative remarks become bolder, more direct. People begin to openly question if it's ethical for a white family to foster a Native American child. Comments like "this child should be with his people," and "they don't understand his heritage" spark heated arguments. Supporters defend the couple, arguing that Macaulay is loved and safe, but the discussions grow more polarized, with passionate responses on both sides. Sue sits by her phone, watching the comments roll in, her face growing troubled. By the fifth day, the positive and negative responses become increasingly volatile. Supporters praise the couple's courage and the love they're providing Macaulay, while detractors accuse them of cultural erasure and selfishness. Some accuse California and Sue of not understanding Native American struggles or the impact of raising a child outside his culture. California's heart sinks as she scrolls through the comments, feeling an unsettling sense of anger and helplessness. Sue looks over, worry deepening in her eyes. "I just wanted to share our happiness," she whispers, her voice thick with disappointment. I didn't think it would turn into this. On the sixth day, the arguments become heated and personal. A few of the messages are outright homophobic, with people claiming that a same sex couple shouldn't be raising any child, let alone a Native American one. This is unnatural, reads one comment. What's this boy going to learn from two women? Another comment asserts, Macaulay deserves better than this. It's just not right. California reads these comments with a clenched jaw, her heart aching with the hurtful words. She feels Sue's hand on her shoulder, but there's a tension between them, a shared worry that neither wants to speak aloud. By the seventh day, the post has drawn even more attention. The debate has attracted trolls, and the comments become increasingly hostile, with long threads of strangers debating their family's choices. Friends continue to offer supportive messages, but their words are drowned out by the louder, angrier voices on both sides. California and Sue spend the day trying to ignore it, focusing instead on Macaulay, who remains blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing online. Just as they're settling in that evening, there's a knock at the door. They exchange a wary glance, neither of them expecting anyone. California goes to the door and peeks through the peephole, her heart sinking as she sees a man standing there, a notepad and a recording device in hand, a reporter. She turns back to Sue, her voice tense. It's a reporter. Sue's eyes widen, and she bites her lip, her expression a mixture of worry and resolve. Do you think we should talk to him? They share a long, uncertain look. The idea of speaking publicly, of trying to defend their family to strangers, feels overwhelming. But they know that their story is already out there, and that hiding from it might not be an option forever. Maybe we should hear what he has to say, California murmurs, her voice filled with a mix of determination and doubt. Sue takes her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. Whatever we decide, we're in this together. They stand by the door, the weight of their choice settling over them as they prepare to face whatever might come next.